I am willing to bet you 5 grand that if the love of your life was about to propose to you with a gorgeous 5-carat diamond ring, you would not want him to give it to you in a plastic bag. You would ideally maybe want it in a box. Ideally, maybe a blue Tiffany's box. The packaging affects the experience, and it's the same when it comes to your food and how it's served. Your plates, your tableware, your serveware, it all affects your experience. The substance might be great, but sometimes the packaging plays a part, okay? I'm not judging you if you want to go for the paper plates all the time or the foil trays when you are hosting, but I'm just saying, if you build up a collection that you love without needing to break the bank, you can elevate your whole experience and the experience of your guests. Now, with that being said, I'm going to warn you that I have a collection that's slightly more than the average person's, and I'm coming to understand that I might have a slight addiction, but it's an addiction that doesn't hurt anyone. I'm okay with it. So let's talk about plates. Yeah. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Love Marby, where we talk about all things home, heart, and hosting. I'm Michelle Marby Davies, and if you are new here, just imagine if Oprah and Martha Stewart had a baby. I would basically be the end result because I love rich, deep conversations like Oprah, but I also love hosting, entertaining, and elevating my home. And that's what we talk about here on this channel. It has been a while since I've been here. I'm going to save you the apologies, but just know that I'm excited to be back, okay? I have been in full swing prep mode for my event Tables and Tales, and I cannot wait for that to happen and also share the journey with you. But today, we are talking about plates and how to build your plate collection, or a few rules that I like to bear in mind when building mine. I love plates. I come from a long line of plate lovers. My grandma loved plates. My mom loved plates. We had a whole room dedicated to just crockery when we were in Nigeria, and my aunt in America also collects plates, and I love her collection and the pieces that she has. And I also love the fact that they're something you can pass down from generation to generation, or something you can enjoy for decades. My aunt has plates that are like 20, 25 years old. And it's just a testament to, number one, buying quality, but number two, just this thing that I feel like is an art. For me, plates are like the perfect canvas for a meal with your loved ones. It's a canvas for nourishment. It's a canvas for connection. And I feel like the example that I gave at the beginning, yes, a 5-carat diamond ring is still a 5-carat diamond ring, whether it comes in a plastic bag or whether it comes in a gorgeous box. But isn't it so much better when it comes in a gorgeous box? And like I said, no judgment if you want to stick with the plastic and the paper plates for yourself, and even when you're hosting, and the foil trays. But for me, I just think there's something really elevated about great dinnerware and great serveware. So I'm going to walk you through my collection, but also some rules that I bear in mind when I'm building mine. And I always say you do not need to break the bank. Stick to what's affordable for you. But there are some things to bear in mind. The first thing that I would encourage you to do when it comes to building up your collection is to pick pieces that complement each other. You know what your favorite colors are. You know what it is that you enjoy. So pick that, because you're gonna have to live with those plates. For me, I am definitely a plain Jane girly. And if you haven't noticed, most of my collection is whites and creams. So I typically have that. Now, all the pieces are not from the same family. And that's what I love when it comes to collecting plates and serveware. They don't all need to be from the same line, but I do love picking things that complement each other. So I have lots of whites and lots of creams. Now, the thing to bear in mind, I'm not going to bore you with the whole thing around porcelain and stoneware, but the one thing that I would say is don't pick plates that are, there's a way that they can end up looking cheap, where they're so stark white, or the material is just kind of not the best quality, and it ends up looking cheaper than it needs to. So go for stoneware or porcelain if you have the chance to, or china, fine china. I don't have much fine china because it's very delicate, and I host a lot, so I don't want apologies. But yeah, pick colors that complement each other. I also, if you haven't noticed, love, love, love teal. I love greens. I feel so happy when I'm wearing green, and that translates to other things in my home. Apart from having plants that are green as well, you will find accent pieces that are in that same color family. When I used to make wedding cakes, this was the color of my logo. And this isn't the primary color that I have in my pieces, but I have one collection that is this standout color, but it still works well with other pieces that I have. So if I wanted to pair this and this on a table, it wouldn't be egregious. Like, they would work well together. So I would say when you are curating a collection, make sure that you pick pieces that complement each other well. Like I also have, you know, blues and greens in this shade as well. And even when I have color like pattern, I don't have much pattern, but even when I do have patterned pieces like this one, it complements this color as well. So you want to be able to mix and match sometimes. If you are a plain Jane and you can't even handle any kind of pattern or print, that's fine. Stick with what works for you. But I love having pieces that complement each other and work well as and when is needed, right? The next rule of thumb for me, which is something that I personally love doing, is making sure that the middle of my plate doesn't have heavy patterns. I can deal with a plate that has patterns on the edges or on the rim. I want it to shine in that regard, but the middle of the plate, I need it to be white or have as much negative space as possible. And this really comes in handy when you're plating food and you want your food to shine. If these are plates maybe that you're going to use for a buffet, it's fine. Like I've been attracted to some of those that have like writing in the middle or the lemons and the oranges as something more fun and more playful. And you can go for that. But I really love having the middle of my plate with as much negative space as possible. I think it allows the food to shine. And when it comes to food and plating things and even just design principles in general in your home, where things end up looking elevated is when you have some form of negative space for things to shine. It's just a rule of thumb. And that's why sometimes when you add too many of a certain piece, maybe to a mantelpiece or a cupboard or something in particular, it can look clustered, it looks tacky. Even though loads of those things might be expensive and they might cost a lot, when there's too much in the space and there's no negative space, it looks like a lot. You need room for something to breathe. And it's the same when it comes to design principles in your home. It's the same when it comes to food being plated. It's the same even when it comes to outfits, where people will say, if you're gonna do this up here, maybe do less down there. Or if I have really busy earrings, maybe I don't have much going on my neckline. It's all about negative space and giving things room to breathe and shine. So if you're finding some things in your home where you're looking and you're like, it doesn't look as elevated as I want, maybe there's too much going on and it's just too clustered and too busy. And I digress, but that's the rule of thumb that I have when it comes to plates. I want the colors of the dish that I have to shine. So I want the middle of the plate to be as plain as possible. But if it's plates that maybe I'm going to use for a buffet or something that's family style, then yeah, I can have kind of motifs going on in the middle or patterns and prints, which I want to add to my collection because I'm loving those plates that have like the stripes and then maybe a painting of a fruit in the middle. You guys know what I'm talking about. If you love plates, you know the style that I mean. But yeah, that's the difference between the main plate for this set and the starter plate that it comes with. The starter plate has a bit more going on in the middle, but that was a sacrifice I was willing to make because it's just a gorgeous, gorgeous set. It's a dupe of the Christian Dior Lily of the Valley plates. Not an exact one, similar. I would say like dupe is a stretch, but it's similar. And it's super, super gorgeous. And it just works with a lot that I have. It also complements the napkins and things that I have going on. So that's what I mean by getting pieces that you know will work well together. The third rule that I have when it comes to building my collection is buying one or two more pieces than exactly the amount that I need. And this is a lesson sometimes that you will learn the hard way, even when it comes to glassware. If you have a dinner table that can accommodate 12 and you know you need 12 pieces, buy 13 or 14. This works especially if you're buying pieces that are loose. So if you're buying, I don't know, plates and they come individually, it works well. If you're buying a set, it's a bit difficult because then that means ideally you would need to buy like 2 sets, which is it's a bit much. You don't have to do that. But for me, it saves my butt for when things sometimes break. When you're hosting or even when you're eating alone, sometimes you can have accidents and things can drop or they can break. And there's nothing worse than needing to replace a piece and you can no longer buy it. Like it's incredibly frustrating. And then like maybe you're hosting and now you only have enough for 4 place settings or 11 place settings instead of the 6 that you need. Just buy 1 extra piece if you can. It comes in handy, especially with wine glasses. I think a couple of my wine glasses, the really tall ones that I like, have broken and I need to find that exact make, because sometimes the manufacturer is still making whatever the item is, like my wine glasses, chef and sommelier are still making it, but they don't make that particular model, like that particular style. And it's just infuriating, especially if you love the symmetry on a dinner table when you are hosting. But yeah, if you can afford it, buy one more piece than you actually need. Now, before I walk you through my collection, I'm gonna share some tips around little pieces that don't necessarily fit into like a place setting for a tablescape, but they come in handy when I'm hosting. These little rice bowls, I will sing about them from the mountaintops. They are from Amazon. There is no like particular make or model. They're just rice bowls that I think are about 4.5 inches. And they come in so handy. You can use it to serve rice on the side. Like if you're serving up maybe like a fish curry or a chicken curry, you can put rice in the bowl beside people. But instead, what I like to do is use these for kind of tapas style serving. So if I want to serve like a meal or host a dinner party where it doesn't feel like you have to sit and eat full courses, I will plate them up into little bowls like this. So it's like bowl food that a caterer or a catering company might do. Love these. Sometimes also on an island, I will put guac in these, guacamole. I will put dips, salsa, like things that, you know, you just want to make elevated, but it's still for family style or buffet style hosting. They're white, so they will go with most things that you have. And most of my serveware, like my platters, which I'm going to show you, are white. But these come in so handy. Sometimes if there's maybe like 2 or 3 of us, I will put chips in this sometimes, but I prefer a slightly wider bowl for putting chips in. So this is a similar concept. This is from Crate and Barrel, and I absolutely adore using this for, you know, putting chips in, putting a dip, anything, just the little bowls elevate things. And it's not necessary, it's not a must-have, but it comes in handy. I absolutely love, and like I said, most of them are white, so they can complement each other. I have the same rule when it comes to side plates. I think side plates and little saucers, appetizer plates, sometimes they're called online, they come in so handy for welcome stations where you have a cheese board. Don't have a cheese board and just napkins. I mean, you can, but it's nice to have a small plate that people can use to grab the bits of their cheese board and, you know, pop. Like you're kind of doing picky bits. You're kind of doing little things like that you can grab and put together on a plate. It's so nice. These are from my Pearl Dinnerware collection. I'm going to show you, but I'm mentioning this because these are actually bread plates. They go on a place setting, but when I'm hosting and I'm not having bread plates on the tablescape, if I wanted, I use these on the island. I just pop them down, and you know, it's great for guests to just pick up what they have. So you can use things and swap as and when is needed. I have many variations of them and it just works really well for me, but that's what I mean by doing little things that will elevate the presentation when you are hosting and entertaining. Actually, before I share my full collection with you, I'm going to talk about grabbing plates that you don't mind breaking. If you've been here before, you would have heard me talk about these plates that are from Poundland, the equivalent of like a dollar store. And at the time they were £1 each. Now I know sometimes when you go into like a dollar store or Poundland, everything is not £1. Surprise, surprise. But these come in so handy because sometimes I'm hosting large groups of people and I'm nervous about multiple plates being broken, and I just grab these instead. They come in so handy. I don't have to worry when they break. I have the side plate version of it, but then I also have the dinner plate version of it, and literally they're £1 each. I don't get nervous when I'm hosting lots of people and maybe I don't want to bring out the plates that I really love and cherish. I just grab these and they come in really handy. They're great for buffet stations, they're great for welcome stations, and sometimes I also use them on tablescapes. Like if I want to mix and match, I actually can, and it doesn't look crazy, it doesn't look scary, and they work well together. But again, that brings back the whole point that I mentioned about having pieces that actually complement each other, because when you want to mix and match, you don't get the scaries. The final thing is I also really love plates that feel like bowls, plates that are big enough, that feel really comforting. I adore these plates. Sometimes I use them for family style service, so they're big enough. See, bigger than my head slightly, big enough for you to use to put food down the middle of the table and have people kind of pass things around. I've used these to serve garlic and herb king prawns or tiger prawns, and people pass them around. I've put chicken karaage in them. I've put focaccia, like different things, and just have it like family style, and people just grab and pass the plates around, especially with tongs, if you can grab those. But even sometimes when I'm making a plate for myself, when I need some comfort and I want to stack some rice and some chicken and I just want it to be fully loaded, I love a plate like this because it feels super, super comforting. And there's nothing better than a plate that is shaped like a bowl. Gorgeous. And I love the high edges on them. Stunning. Okay, now let me walk you through my actual collection. Okay, first we are starting off strong with this pearl dinnerware set from Costa Nova. I love the brand. It's made in Portugal, and the detail on the edge is what sets it apart. It kind of has also what looks like discoloration, but it's actually part of the style of the plate. And there are many dupes, but not every dupe gets this plate correct. Like some of the dupes kind of just look more like bubbles. There's just a little detail in terms of the way that it goes that's stunning. This is the dinner plate size, which is huge, and I absolutely love it. It is stunning, okay? And this is the pasta plate, which I love because you can use it as a starter plate for like a salad. A great salad piled up in here would be fantastic. But just that kind of shallow dip that it's got, that's not too deep, is just stunning. I love the way they've made this plate. It's absolutely gorgeous. Again, that detail kind of just runs through around the sides, and it's just something that would complement any tablescape, and even for kind of just having meals at home on a daily basis. I love that it translates well for daily use, but also for a tablescape. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Also the side plate version of it, and it's just stunning. Again, similar. And I love the shade of white that it is. Again, it doesn't feel super kind of like cheap if it was too white. It's gorgeous. Anything made in Portugal is really typically great. This is the side plate, the bread plate. And I didn't have bread plates as part of my collection previously, but when I go for fancy events or nice events, or even when I host tables and tails, I love that typically they will have, you know, a bread plate on the side. Super gorgeous, elevated. And the great thing about having something like a bread plate is you can also use it as saucers. It doesn't have to just be used for bread and butter. 10 out of 10 would recommend. For me, on a dinner table, what I would do is put the bread, like bread rolls on each, or if I'm passing the bread around family style, I would have like a scoop of butter on this plate, like a quenelle of butter, or some people are doing like the silicone mold of butter instead as a creative option. That could work as well. But I love, love, love this whole set. It's just gorgeous. Gorgeous, 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 gorgeous. Yeah, this is the pieces that I have from this set, apart from the serveware, which I will show you next. Now, this is a set I don't have a full collection of. This is just for my daily use when I want to have coffee. I use it almost every day, and I have coffee. It's from Hermes, and I love it. I was torn for a while between the gold mosaic, however you say it, and I think the platinum, but I prefer the gold. I wanted the plate that I got for like croissants and stuff like that to have a white middle, similar to what I said before. Like I prefer when there is a plain white middle, like more negative space, the way this looks minus the logo in the middle. But they didn't have that option in this size. I would have had to go a lot bigger, and I didn't want that. I use this to have toast, maybe some sourdough. I have a croissant. Sometimes I might have a scrambled egg, and I just love how small it is. Like I don't want anything too big. But yeah, I don't need this in a full set because I don't want apologies if anyone breaks it. I'm not saying I will never get a full set of it, but for now, this is for me to enjoy, and probably I would keep getting little pieces that only I can use, and it's just specially set aside for me. It's the upgraded version of when like mums and dads would have their mugs that only they were allowed to use. But typically, like in a Nigerian household, those are like those giant mugs. We call it Bata Bullet mugs, but those giant mugs that are like Sports Direct and they're bigger than their heads. No, but this is slightly bigger than a teacup. It's a breakfast cup, and the detail on it is super cute. It's annoying that you can't microwave it because of the precious metal on there, but it's fine. I enjoy using this. Something that I have in my collection that I really, really adore is this plate from Rocket St. George. I think they've discontinued it, which proves my point around buying more than you actually need. But I love how it feels rustic and elegant at the same time. It's so weird. I'm not sure if the color is actually showing up the way it should on camera, but there's these little darker markings that come with like the piping detail, so it feels a bit more down to earth. But I love also how wide the middle of the plate is. Like there's so much space to put food on. It's super, super gorgeous. If you wanted, you could actually get away with using this as kind of a charger plate, because the starter plate or the side plate that comes with it is small enough to fit in the middle. Let me show you. Yeah, I have the starter plate that comes with it, and it's just gorgeous. Like, it's a scalloped detail that it comes with, and I love this on a tablescape for a summer tablescape or something autumnal. It has a relaxed feeling to it, but then you can dress it up. And I'm the kind of person, when I do tablescapes, I love kind of allowing the florals to shine in the middle of the table. So that's why my plates are usually a lot more pared back. But I adore this set. So have the pasta bowl kind of dish, and it's similar to the one from the pearl tableware from Costa Nova, where it's got that shallow dip, but it's just gorgeous. Like serving butternut squash soup out of this, or maybe a salad, a ribbon salad. Like, it's just stunning, and you can layer them on a tablescape and they look fantastic. 10 out of 10 would recommend. As I've said, I don't have too much color when it comes to my collection, but I absolutely love a teal blue or kind of a green. I had something else that was very similar to this, but when I worked on a campaign and I got this set from Next and Nina Campbell, I sold the other set because I don't want to have just tons and tons of plates that I don't actually get use out of. And if someone else can use it and enjoy it for a lower price because they're buying it from me used, I don't mind that. But I love this set. The detailing on the edge, I don't know if you can see that pattern, it's just so stunning. Like, it lifts the color a bit because it doesn't feel like it's just that blue color, and they've done this really well. Nina Campbell is like an OG when it comes to ceramics and homeware, and she partnered with Next for something that feels, that is a bit more affordable for everyone. I love her, is it Halcyon set? I really, really want to be able to get that teapot, and I think the teacup that comes in her set. But for now, this is what I have from her. I have this bowl, the wider bowl. And then I also have this cereal kind of bowl, deeper, smaller, but again, that detailing on the edge is just what sets it apart for me. I adore this. On a tablescape, it's just stunning. And like I said, I can mix and match this set with something else. Trying to stay out of the frame, but yeah, see what I mean about being able to pair things together, which brings me on to this set next. Let's cover this. I get so many pieces from TK Maxx, TJ Maxx, HomeSense, Home Goods, whatever it's called in your country, and the way people sleep on them just blows my mind. I love this piece. It's from 222 5th Avenue, and there's a lot of pieces in my collection that's from that brand from like 10 years ago. Gorgeous. So the detailing on it, like I said, I don't know if it's fair to call it a dupe of the Christian Dior Lily of the Valley set, but it's close enough. The starter plate has more detailing on it. It's a bit busier, but those two paired together work really nicely. And I just love the detail around the edges and even that scalloped like shape. Absolutely love it. Now, the thing that I would say, if you are setting a tablescape with plates like this where there is a pattern, to make your tablescape 10 out of 10, make sure that whichever way you position the plate on one place setting, you do the same for the next and the next and the next. So if, for example, the flower, like if, for example, I put the vine, let's say the leafy part at the very top on one place setting, I need to do the same for the next, and then the same for something that's busier. For example, I typically put like this lemon or whatever fruit that is on the side, and I will have that in the same layout for each place setting because everything looks more uniform and just elegant. But I love this. I love the negative space in the middle. I don't mind this being slightly busier in the middle on this plate because, I don't know, I didn't design the plate, so I kind of have to work with what they gave. But yeah, this is this set and I just adore it. It's so gorgeous, so gorgeous. The next piece that I adore in my collection is this pasta plate. I love a good dramatic plate. Like the rim on this is so dramatic. It feels very much like me. It's from Sainsbury's Home. Again, don't sleep on your supermarkets. Supermarkets that have like a home department or a home sector, section, whatever you want to call it. They sometimes will have great pieces. It's white, so it works with many things. I could only find 4 of these at the time, and it's so annoying because I can't find any more that have like the same depth and the same width of the rim. So I use this if I'm hosting like just 4 people, or if I'm doing buffet style on the island and there's just a small group of us. But I love this plate. I also love eating pounded yam and F4 from a plate like this. Those that know will know. Fantastic. Tagliatelle, also fantastic from something like this. Risotto, fantastic from a plate like this. But it's just so simple. I love a good simple plate. 10 out of 10 would recommend. These are the Poundland plates that I spoke about great option, really simple. Like, again, because of the color on them, they don't look so, sometimes when you get cheap plates, they're too white, so they look like, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, where it looks so white that it looks extremely cheap. This has like a creamy undertone to it, but not so cream that then it looks weird. But yeah, it's just dinner plate, starter plate, fantastic for a buffet, £1 each or $1 each depending on where you are. Great. 10 out of 10, would recommend. I spoke about this plate earlier. I cannot say too much, but if you get the hint, you get the hint. It is a plate that feels like a bowl. It's slightly like, it curves in a little bit, like it's not a straight, complete straight side up. But my dear, when you want to eat like you are a soldier fighting in battle, this is the plate and portion size you can go for. When men come over, like when I'm hosting and there's guys, they love going for this plate. But even women, it's so comforting, like to put some rice, your meat, maybe a salad. It's just so comforting. There's a bit of texture on it as well, so it's not like completely smooth. Is that gonna focus? Yeah, there's a bit of texture, so it's not completely smooth, but it's super, super gorgeous. If you keep those eyes peeled, you might be able to secure one for yourself. But this is probably the plate that I get asked about the most online when I'm hosting. I love when I'm making a lamb shank tagine, I will put couscous in the base and put the lamb shank on top, and it's just so dramatic and so gorgeous. 10 out of 10 would what? Recommend. Oh, like I said earlier, you can also use this for family style service. So if it's slightly too big for you to eat out of for yourself, you can also put this like to have chicken karage, prawns, a salad. I love serving a side salad in this because it's like compact within the bowl. It's just great. Like the depth of it is fantastic as well. But yeah, love this plate. I'm gonna breeze through the small bowls collection. I adore this. This is that rice bowl that I was talking about. That's slightly smaller and works great for tapas style, for putting dips, for guac, for salsa, or sometimes for just mise en place. Or even if, like when I did my pizza party, I put all the ingredients in these small bowls. They are 4.5 or even smaller in inches, rice bowls. You can use them for rice. Sometimes even before, I'm Nigerian, and sometimes when you serve pounded yam, it's too much and people fall asleep. And sometimes I want to serve like multiple soups. So to keep it interesting, I literally just put like a tiny bit of pounded yam in the bowl and F4, and then the next set of bowls, because I have quite a few of them, the next set of bowls had egusi, and you can just keep doing that on and on and on. You can have small bowls that have like jollof rice and suya on top. Like if you don't want people to be overwhelmed by eating massive plates of food, serve them in this small bowl and make it like bowl food or tapas style. I have lots of little bowls and side plates. So this is another one that I believe, yeah, it's from Crate and Barrel. It's just a small plate, shallow, cute. This is also another version, which leans more to like, if I was gonna serve sushi or some Japanese food, it feels more of that vibe, especially just because of the shape of the plate and the ceramic like style that they've chosen. I don't know what the English is for that, but gorgeous. Again, like I said, don't sleep on Home Goods, TK Maxx, TJ Maxx, however it's called in your country. This is another 225th collection. I've had these, they are worn, yeah, but I'm not getting rid of them for sentimental reasons. I had these from when I used to make wedding cakes. And when I would have wedding cake tastings, I would have these little plates that the guests could like taste their cake on, and it was just gorgeous. It didn't feel overwhelming, and I love the gold detailing. I had like gold and white teapots that complemented it as well, but it wasn't part of a set. I just love the detail on this. Not dishwasher safe, but gorgeous. These are probably about 10 years old. Probably, yeah. Then more small plates. I have these appetizer plates from Crate and Barrel. Love them, love the, I don't know if you can see it, the detailing, like the texture on the plate. It's not just like flat and white. Gorgeous. And then I also have square appetizer plates. Again, if you have cheese boards, if you have a welcome station of different snacks and you want people to just grab bits and go, you don't want them to have to stand and hover at the island. Little plates like this make it so that people can grab what they want to eat, put it on their plate, not be too greedy because it's small, and then just go. Got to say that these bowls are also great for serving something like pepper soup. Again, if you're Nigerian, pepper soup, or even if you're not Nigerian, any kind of soup or pho, like for example, if you're, is pho Vietnamese? I want to say so. Anyway, yeah, something liquidy, but you don't want people to be overwhelmed by the volume. Fantastic. Also, always recommend ramekins for sauces, hummus, dips, Just little things. Sometimes on a platter, I will put these in the middle of the platter. If I have chips, for example, I'll pop these around. It doesn't come with a platter, but it's great for having a dip that goes with the chips. Super cheap, super simple, but always comes in handy. If you have a cheese board, they're great for popping jams onto as well. So you don't have to put too much jams or too much of the conserve, like a fig jam or a curd, whatever it is. Because they're small, you don't end up wasting too much. Fantastic. These might feel a little more niche, but I love them. They're these little jugs that I got from Amazon. They come in a set, and I love them for, like, you know, when you're hosting and maybe you have a lamb shank or something that needs a sauce poured and you don't want to ladle too much, because I'm a sauce babe. I love having a lot of sauce. Not everyone is like that. This allows people to be in control of how much sauce they pour onto their thing. Or sometimes it comes in handy for custard. If you're serving a dessert, like I love a dessert that has an ice cream and a custard, but it's nice when guests get to pour that on themselves. Or maybe a coulis. Again, you just ladle it. Like I've got quite a few of these, probably like 12 or 14, I'm not sure. And people just pour it on themselves. It's just, it's extra, it's cute. It's just like, come on. Why not? Again, if you wanted to be extra with the pepper soup, for example, in those small rice bowls, you could put the meat. So you separate the meat from the broth, and then you put the broth in a jug like this, and people get to pour it. 10 out of 10 would recommend. For something larger and more traditional, it would be a gravy boat like this, which I have, or this, which is typically actually for cream, like half and half, or milk or whatever, but it's your house. You can do what you want. You can use it for multi-purpose. Yeah, but if you have something that's slightly larger, it can be passed around the whole table, as opposed to loads of the tiny, smaller ones that I just showed before. I am gonna breeze through serveware like a thief in the night, okay? When it comes to dishes for serving, you want to elevate the experience. I love pieces that combine both design and functionality. You know that problem of, oh my gosh, I can't keep my food hot for when my guests come? Yeah, a piece like this is a platter, but it's oven safe. So you can keep it in the oven, keep your dishes hot, and then when you bring it out, you put it on a trivet, which keeps your table safe. And it's just 10 out of 10 fantastic. Like, this is from Crate and Barrel. I wish the trivet was slightly better quality. I have two. The other one is slightly like damaged, but it's fine. It still functions as I need it to. But literally, they come in so many shapes and sizes. You can get deeper ones. You can get ones that are suited for things like mac and cheese. And you don't have that worry of trying to figure out how to keep things warm. So you can see the base is a bit more like rustic. It's oven safe. And I just love this for fish, for meats, for chickens, because literally you can put it in the oven and put it straight onto the trivet. And it looks elegant. It's functional and elegant. Like, it's beautiful. As for serving dishes, I want them to have slightly interesting details. So this one, I'm going to see if the camera will focus. You can see those lines on the edge. They make it a bit more interesting. I love big rectangular platters like this when it comes to putting big pieces of fish. Like if I'm doing a whole fish, for example, big pieces of fish, maybe some chicken. Sometimes the chicken has a bit of a sauce, and this is handy because it's not completely flat. The slightly raised edges mean that the sauce won't spill over. But I would say when it comes to collecting pieces for serveware, you want to make sure you have things that are flat like this, which are great for meats, for fish. Sometimes you can also use them for rice, but I will show you a few more pieces before I get onto what would work for things like rice. But yeah, these are great. They work for potatoes and things like that as well. Again, another piece that I have, and like I said, a lot of these are from HomeSense, Home Goods. They have great platters depending on which ones you go to. But can you see the detail on the edge that makes it feel a bit more interesting? When you are serving this, either family style, if your table is big enough, or on an island, it just feels like a talking point. It's interesting, it's elevated, it's cute, and it's functional. I have smaller pieces that also still work as rectangular platters. This one with a slightly interesting detail on the edge as well. I think it's from 10 Strawberry Street, and this is also 10 Strawberry Street. But again, Home Goods, HomeSense, TK Maxx, TJ Maxx had these for almost 10 years. There's also this piece which is cute and wavy as well. Super interesting, super cute. I also love interesting pieces like this, which are long and they come in handy for sushi. It's long and skinny, so I can put sushi down the middle, or I can put spring rolls. And then sometimes I will just pop a ramekin on the end. Pop a ramekin on the end like this, and people can kind of like have the dip next to the item itself, so people know the sauce goes with the item, but it didn't come as a set. Love this, would recommend. Okay, let's breeze through these last few. I have this bowl, which is like a serving bowl. Well, it is a serving bowl, and it's from that same Pearl tableware collection. And I love the detail on the edge of it. Once again, it's such a simple piece, but it's just done really well. This is great for rice, for if I'm serving like tagliatelle bolognese, that's mixed together, and I just put it in a bowl like this, table side. Absolutely gorgeous. I love the size of it. I love how grand it is. And I have 2 of these. 10 out of 10 would recommend. Other thing that I love about serveware pieces is you can actually pass them from one generation to another. This technically wasn't, I don't know, I wouldn't say it was passed down. I gave this to my mum as a Mother's Day gift years ago, before she passed away, and it's from Wedgwood and it's part of their marble collection. Funny enough, without knowing, my aunt actually has the same plates but as flat plates, and I just love this piece. I don't use it often because I don't want it to be damaged, because it's so sentimental to me. For those who are new to the channel, my mum passed away just over 10 years ago, and part of my love of hosting and plates and all those things comes from her. So this is just something that I see and it just always makes me think of her, and I love it as a piece in my collection. I would use it more for salads. I would be afraid of something like red pepper or tomato like staining it, but it is enameled on the inside, so you shouldn't have that issue. Then I also love little bowls like this. I love this piece, which is it's from 10 Strawberry Street, and the 2 bowls look very similar, but they are slightly different. This one has like the 2 handles with the curve, and this is just one that looks kind of asymmetrical. I don't know if you can see that, but when I say one, it's like one handle with the hole, then the other side is covered. But yeah, I love these for serving like chips, or just anything just on an island or a welcome station. I think it's an interesting bowl to have, and it doesn't feel super typical. Again, just a little talking piece at the table. Love it. Also great for small portions of potato salad, coleslaw, and sometimes because I have 2 of each, I'll put maybe coleslaw in 2 and another salad in the other 2. Speaking of serveware that can function as a talking point, these are from 10 Strawberry Street, and I love them, love them, love them. Absolutely love how it looks. Again, Home Goods TK Maxx. I have one that's similar, but with more of a curve. And yeah, serving rice and you don't want to serve ginormous portions, you can serve in these and people can kind of help themselves. But I love these 2 pieces. I have these, which are very simple, very classic. They're just huge. And again, if I'm serving a lot and I have like, you know, acrylic risers out, I will pop these on there. Sometimes I also use this for food prep as well. It just depends. Speaking of interesting pieces, again, from that collection with Next and Nina Campbell, I have these 2. I love the fact that they feel like a talking point. The leaf shape is great. Costa Nova has certain items that are leaf shapes as well, but I just love this. Again, you can serve whatever you want. It could be chicken wings, it could be rice, it could be anything, but it would look lovely and elevated just on this kind of platter set. There's also this from the collection, which looks like a chopping board, but isn't. Love it. Honorable mention for anything that has height. Oddly, this is from Primark Home. It's a really heavy marble slab, and it's just got this trivet stand underneath. And when you are serving on an island, or even if it's a table, you kind of want to elevate things. You want to have some things that are flat and low on the surface, and some things that are slightly higher. That's why sometimes catering buffet displays look so great. And you can do that with stands like cake stands like this. It doesn't always have to be like something fancy specifically. Cake stands, wooden risers, anything like that will elevate your display. I've had to move the camera so I can have it on charge for a little bit, but hopefully you can see. Let's talk about charger plates. This is from LSA. It's iridescent and I love the detail on it. I don't know if you can actually see that, but I got it on sale on eBay. Someone was like, I don't know, selling from what he'd found in thrift stores. And that's the thing, you can find what you love and it doesn't have to be full price, but these are LSA. I love LSA. You can find great LSA drink pieces in TK Maxx, TJ Maxx, Home Sense. Typically in the UK, I find LSA actually, because I believe, yeah, they are a UK brand. But I love, love, love this charger plate. It works with almost anything that I put on top of it. And I love the iridescent feature. You can't see it properly, but it changes to like shades of blues and pinks, and yeah, just lovely. Then this pink lace detail charger plate, I really, really love. I'm obsessed with it. It's really big. It's quite large. Probably same size, slightly larger than the LSA one, but it's just fantastic. I love using this when it's like a Galentine's dinner or something where I want it to have a kind of a bit more of a feminine touch and feel. Really elegant, really gorgeous, and just hopefully you can see the detail. Love this. I got this from the Bailey Events tableware company. She had a few extra pieces that she needed to let go of, so she gave these to me. Love. Blue Italian. This is probably not the best light to show these in, but honestly, this reminded me of my mum because I think she used to collect the Churchill version, or maybe it was Spode, I'm not sure. Can't remember, but I got these as seconds. Sometimes with brands, they will have seconds on their websites where maybe it's got like a mark, like can you see, there's like the marking on the back, but really, I don't care. It works great, it looks lovely. I've experimented a bit more lately with mixing and matching this because typically I would only want like something white on top of this because it feels busy. But then the other day I did a plate setting that had this blue plate on top of it, just pulling in those blue undertones from this plate, which is teal technically. And then I went in with this on top. This is definitely very maximalist. It's not my everyday look, but for something just bold and a bit different and with the right florals, it looks lovely. I will try and insert a clip. I think this was the arrangement that I went for. But even if I wanted to pare it down and not use the teal, I could still go for something that was white and then maybe something on top, or just white and white on top of each other, like this on its own with another white side plate on top. But yeah, people prefer to use placemats, but I love charger plates. And if your dinner plate is actually large enough, like that pearl tableware, you can probably use that as a charger plate, like a makeshift charger plate, if you don't actually have one. But yeah, that is it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you on another episode. If you want to keep up with me on Instagram and TikTok, I am at Marby's Kitchen. I'll see you.